Hello and welcome to this short and fiery practice. And so, without delay, let's begin in a kneeling position. Feel free to sit on something if that makes it a little bit more comfortable. Let's go ahead and immediately shut down the eyes, placing the hands wherever is most comfortable for you, but allow for your shoulders to pretty immediately settle. As soon as you've landed, take a nice, vast, deep breath in all the way to the bottom of the belly. And a very heavy and cleansing breath out all the way to the bottom again. Relax the jaw and the face, and let a feeling of softness spread throughout your body. Just take a second. And bringing just a different quality of attention into your body. We start to emphasize feeling over analysis. And allow for a quality of connectedness to come to the experience of the body. Feel the fingers, feel the toes, front of the body to the back of the body. Immerse your experience inside of your body, and then take your attention to your breath. And start to loosen off your belly space. And start to breathe a little bit deeper. But more importantly, you're starting to breathe a little bit more slowly. So this yogic style of breathing and this very physiologically efficient style of breathing is more about the pace of your breath slowing down rather than the actual depth of it. So we want to keep things really comfortable in the expansion and contraction of the inhale and the exhale, and yet let it take time. I'm just going to take a few of these slowed down, slightly expanded breaths, but let it feel really comfortable, really pleasant. And you're starting to establish a deep sense of connection to the feeling of your body through your breath. And so let's keep this sensitive form of communication to the body through the breath as we start to move a little bit more. Go ahead and blink your eyes open and immediately raise the arms up towards the sky, up towards the ceiling. Big breath in at the top. And then taking a twist over to your right, wrapping the right arm behind your lower back, left hand planting on the thigh or similar. Roll back the right shoulder as you start to rotate through the spine. Nice and tall. Nothing too harsh or severe on the body to begin with. Just nice and gentle in your application of the twist and your breath. The twist and the breath coming together. The exhale emptying and twisting a little bit deeper. Last one here. And then over to the other side. Raise up the arms firstly. Big breath in. And then twisting to your left. Catching the thigh. A half bind on the left arm. Wrapping it up. Rolling back the shoulder and keeping your seat nice and heavy, rotating through the chest, little pin back on your left shoulder, and also dropping it down a little extra. We'll just take one or two more breaths. Again, nothing too harsh. There's a sense of being conservative as we get going. Slow warming. And then with your inhale, raise up the arms nice and high. And interlace your hands behind the lower back. I'll turn sideways for you. Interlacing the hands, roll back the shoulders, and as you lift up your chest, draw the belly in and drop the shoulders down. And just one or two breaths here. And then doing your very best to come into this bound child's pose. So bowing the chest forward. Maybe the forehead comes to the floor, hands lifting up. Just take one big breath here. And then lifting straight back up, raising up the arms towards the ceiling one last time, and then coming straight into downward facing dog. Placing the palms, tucking the toes, lifting up the hips. Making a little bit of movement through that down dog to get the legs slowly adjusted. We're really just feeling things out in the body to begin with here. making minor movements into the edges of intensity, just sort of touching on them and then releasing, dipping in and out of intensity. We'll just take one more big breath here. And then with an inhale, come into high plank. Bring the shoulders above your wrists. Really push the ground away around your upper back. Take a little bend into your knees and slide the hips back and up into down dog before you immediately push forward into high plank again. Do it again. A little bend, send the hips back and up. Last time, high plank, come forward. This time, as you head back into downward facing dog, immediately walk your hands backwards towards your feet, landing in a very gentle and loose forward fold at the back of your mat. Super soft through your neck. Let a little bit of swaying into the body here, side to side, forward and back, but absolutely soft through the shoulders and the neck. One more big breath here. And then a deeper bend into the knees as you roll up the spine all the way through standing. Reach and stretch up nice and big, nice and tall. Big breath in at the top, and then again interlacing the hands behind the lower back. Roll back the shoulders, and then sitting the hips into a little bit of a chair pose here, but again belly nice and tight. Keep it in, and then lift the heels up off the ground, making the thighs wake up and work a little bit. Maybe the hands want to lift away from the lower back for just one more big breath. And then drop the heels, raise up the arms, big breath in at the top as you stand up, and exhale to fold forward. Hands coming down towards the floor. Walk them out to plank position. As soon as you're in plank, drop your knees to the floor and lower the whole body down until you're flat. Take the hands as wide as your mat. Inhale to lift up your chest into cobra. Exhale to lower back down. Nothing too strong, but do try and point your feet as you're lifting the chest up, and also bringing it down. So really try and keep the contact of the feet into the floor. One breath to one movement. Inhale up, exhale down. Nice wave-like action. 2 to go. Work with the breath, move with the breath. Last one, up and down. And as your chest comes down, push back through to tabletop, hands and knees, straight up into downward facing dog. And as soon as you're there, walking gently towards the top of your mat, feet coming forwards. As you arrive, take an inhale to halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale to fold back in. Inhale to stand tall, reach up and stretch up, big breath. Exhale to fold forward, hands coming down. Halfway lift again, shoulders draw back. Stepping the left foot back, just for one breath, sink the hips and puff the chest forward, and then lower the back knee down as you raise the chest and arms up. As you arrive into low lunge, bend your left elbow behind the head, right hand up on top of it, lift the head a little extra, belly in, and then sink the hips as you lean to your right. Nice big side bend. 2 good breaths here, tilting the shoulder back. One more big breath. And then as you release your left elbow, hook it on around the front knee, hands coming together, sink the hips a little bit further so your center of gravity comes into your front foot, and then lift the back knee. Once you're there, lift the chest a little and rotate deeper into the twist. Back knee is really strong and straight. We've just got one more big breath here. And then release. 2 hands to the floor. Again, lift the collarbones, puff the chest forward as you sink the hips, and be gentle as you start to straighten through the front leg and fold. We keep moving. Inhale to lunge again, bend the front knee. Exhale, back to the fold. Last one. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, back to the fold. This time, take the lunge and turn to the left-hand side of your mat, or to the side of your mat. So 2 feet facing the side of the room, side of the mat. Take a halfway lift to lengthen, and then just bending into one knee and then the other. I want to be really gentle here. The inner legs are quite sensitive, very tender little area of the body. So we try and take care of it, especially as the body's just warming up still. One more round, left to right. And then as you get there, take an inhale to halfway lift again. Walk the hands to the back of your mat. You might lose me on camera. That's okay. Stick with my voice. Puff the chest forward on fingertips. One big breath. And then drop the back knee down. Raise the chest and arms up. Low lunge here at the back. Right elbow bending behind the head. Left hand up on top. Lift the head a little into the arm, belly in, sink the hips, lean left. Big old side bend here. Keep the top shoulder tilting back. Work with your breath. Saturate the bottom of your belly. Slow it down. We just take maybe one more big breath here. And with an exhale, twist deep. Right elbow on top of the knee. Hands come together. More body weight forward. Get that weight into the front foot. And then pick up the back knee gently as you lift your chest. Rotate deeper. So you're really applying the pressure through the prayer position. Back knee absolutely straight and stiff. Find balance and coordination there. Another big breath. And then release. 2 hands to the floor. Puff the chest forward on fingertips. Lift the collarbones. Be gentle as you start to straighten your front leg and fold. 2 more of these. Inhale to lunge. Chest lifts a little. Exhale back to the fold. Last one. Inhale to lunge. Exhale and fold. This time, take the lunge. Turn to the side of the mat, back where we were a moment ago. So left foot turns in. Take a halfway lift to lengthen, and now maybe a little bit deeper. So bending into one knee and then the other. Get the body weight shifting left to right a couple of times. So a nice feeling of driving the knee out as you shift body weight to that respective side. So knee drives out, don't let it collapse in. Let's just go one more cycle, front to back. And then a halfway lift to lengthen out. Walk the hands back to the original top of the mat, and as soon as you're there, step up, feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold again. A little bit of space between the feet as you stand up and reach up. Big breath at the top here. Interlace your hands behind the lower back. Roll back the shoulders. And then sink the hips into chair. Belly absolutely drawing in here. Lift the heels up off the ground. Hold. Shoulders back, belly in. Another big breath here. And as the heels come down, release the hands, stand up. Big breath at the top, little back bend maybe. And then folding forward and we come through a flow. Halfway lift, lengthen out your spine. Just step back to plank and come through it. Into chaturanga, bend your elbows. Inhale, up dog, chest pulls through. Down dog, hips up. One big breath here. Now we've got a little bit of heat in the body, so let's use it. So a walk, step, or jump to a squat. Feet to the outside of your hands. Sitting the hips down, nice and low. Chest up, belly in. Couple of big breaths. Shoulders back, nice and lifted through the pelvic floor. Sense of stability in the lower belly. And release. 2 hands to the floor. Step your left foot back into lizard lunge. So left foot back, left hand as wide as your mat. Front foot turned out to the side just slightly. Right hand raising up towards the ceiling. Big breath in. And then thread the needle. Right arm dives underneath the left armpit. Drop the chest in. Inhale, open back out. Do it again. Exhale, thread the needle, diving in. This time, open back out. Place the right hand on the floor. Lift your front foot up and out into a 3-legged dog. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up. One big breath. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Squeeze it in. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, knee to your nose. Pull it in. Inhale, back up. Finally to the left elbow and hold. Raise your left hand up into this side plank variation. Back heel to the floor. Knee is squeezing to the chest. Hold here for just one more big breath. And as your left hand comes down, flip that right leg into wild thing. Turn the hips over. Rotate the chest. Lift the chest. Big breath here. And then do your very best to step that right foot up to the top of the mat. In between the hands. Puff the chest forward on fingertips. Do it again. Straightening through the front leg to fold forward. 2 more of these. Inhale to lunge, bend the knee. This time, as you fold, lift the front ball of the foot up. Last one. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, back to the fold. This time, take crescent lunge. Plant the front foot. Raise the chest and arms up. Big breath here. Very similar to before. Bend your left elbow behind your head. Right hand up on top. Lift the head a little more into the arm, and then lean left. 2 big breaths here. And then finding warrior 2 just gently. Back heel down, open the arms out to a T. Immediately flip the front palm, reach up, straighten the front leg in the process. And then come back through warrior 2 to side angle. Elbow to the knee, left hand up and over the head. Only here for a short hold. We're going to try and use a bit more dynamic movement rather than static holds. Sink the hips, rotate the top shoulder back. 1 more breath here. Next inhale, lift the chest, straighten the front leg, reach up and back. Back into side angle just for 1 breath. Elbow to knee, reach over the head, get long through the side body. 1 more. Inhale, lift, straighten the leg, reach up. Back to side angle. Last time, reach over the head. This time, left hand to the floor, turn the front foot in. We're back on the side of the mat. Halfway lift, lengthen out. This time, fold forward quite deeply. Start to pour some body weight into your toes and walk the hands between the legs. Take 2 good breaths here. Take a halfway lift, lengthen out your spine. Walking the hands towards the back of your mat to the left. As you arrive, crescent lunge up this end of the mat. Arms up, big breath in. Exhale, arrowhead. Reach the arms back, sweep them back. Inhale, lift the chest and arms up again. This time, palms touch, lean back, little back bend. Exhale through to arrowhead, sweep your arms back. Last one, inhale, lift. Exhale through to arrowhead, sweeping the arms back. This time, gather your hands to prayer, stand up and hug your right knee to your chest. As you're there, find figure 4, set the right ankle on the left knee. Sink the hips down nice and low. 2 good breaths here. Belly in, shoulders back. Last big breath. Inhale, stand up, knee to chest, hug it in nice and tight, arms up. Take your time, try and step back into crescent lunge, and as you arrive there, sink the hips to your right heel to the original top of the mat into Skandasana. 1 big breath, chest up. To the other end of the mat. Sink the hips to left heel, Skandasana. Breath or 2. Back to the original top of the mat to the right. As you get there, runner's lunge. Slide the left hand a little further forward and turn to your right into Cleopatra. Drop the knee out to the side and reach to the back of the mat. 1 big breath. Inhale to lift the hips and pulse on the spot. Sweep the right hand up over the head. Exhale to sink back down. 1 more of those. Inhale to lift. Exhale to bring it back down. This time, as you lift the hips, step into wild thing. Step your right foot over the left leg. Rotate the hips. Lift. Big breath here. Stick with me for the transition. As your right hand comes back down into plank, tap your right knee to right elbow. Squeeze it in. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Lift it up. Here we go. Koundinyasana. Right knee to right elbow. Shift body weight forward. Bend your elbows. Either stay in chaturanga, stacking the knee up on top, or push off the back toes. Find some flight time. 1 big breath. And then 3-legged dog. Right leg up. Stepping outside your right hand back into lizard. Left foot outside the left hand up into a squat. Sit the hips down nice and low. Chest up. Belly in. Breath or 2. Let it settle. Even these little pit stops are enough to bring the heart rate down just a touch. Last big breath. And then as your hands plant on the floor, lift the hips, lift the heels, and we think about crow pose. So even if you're not going to find flight time, give it a go. Hands plant, drive the knees into the upper arms, hug the elbows in and look forward. Round your upper back, push the spine up between the shoulder blades and shift body weight forward. And maybe that's enough, or maybe the feet come up. Weights in the fingers, holding. 1 more big breath. And then we come through the flow. Step or jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale to down dog. 2 good breaths. Let them settle and slow. Brief stop. but make it a powerful and potent stop. Last big breath. Back to the squat. Walk, step, or jump feet outside your hands. Once you're there, chest up, belly in, pelvic floor stabilizing. Couple more breaths here. Lots of squats going on. Nice shape. Lower back opening up, inner hips, glutes. Lots going on in the squat. We give it one more big breath. 2 hands to the floor. Step the right foot back into that lizardy lunge again. Adjust the stance. Keep the back knee straight. Right hand as wide as your mat. Left hand up. Big breath in. Roll back the shoulder. And then thread the needle. Left arm under the right armpit. Dive, dive, dive. Inhale. Open back out. One more time. Going under. Left hand under the armpit. Drop the shoulder. Inhale. Open back out. And then left hand on the floor, 3-legged dog. Left leg up and out. Bend at the knee, tilt the hip up. Big breath. Left knee to left elbow. Squeeze it in. Inhale, punch it back up. Exhale, knee to the nose. Pull it in. Inhale, back up. Exhale to the right elbow. Cross it under, hold. Back heel down, right hand up. Push the ground away. Lift the hips, holding, breathing. Stay for one more big breath. Stick with it. Back into 3-legged dog. Right hand down, left leg up. Big breath in. And then gently stepping through. Left foot in between the hands. Puff the chest forward on fingertips. Exhale to straighten the front leg and fold. Inhale, lunge, bend the knee. This time as you fold, lift the front ball of the foot up off the ground. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, back to the fold. This time, crescent lunge. Bend the front knee, arms up. As you get there, right elbow bends behind the head. Left hand up on top. Lift the head. Sink the hips a little, but belly in, core always active. Lean left. Holding. Breathing. Last one, big breath. Warrior 2. Back heel down, open the arms out to a T. Establish, sink the hips. Straighten the front leg and reach up and back. Back through warrior 2. Bend the knee, elbow to knee into side angle. Reach the top arm over the head. Couple of big breaths. Keep the left shoulder away from the ear. Take one more here. Let's move. Inhale, lift the chest. Straighten the front leg, reach up and back. Back into side angle, elbow to knee, reaching up and over the head. Do it again. Inhale, lift, straighten the leg, reach up and back. Last one, elbow to knee, reach over the head. This time, reach up and back, a little bit different. Straighten the front leg, left hand up. Back to a T shape on your arms. Turn the front foot in. Interlace your hands behind the lower back. Roll back the shoulders and then fold. Hands coming up over the head. Little bit of weight in the toes. Hold, breathe, and stay. 2 more big breaths here. Halfway lift. 2 hands to the floor, to the back of the mat. Turn, establish the feet, crescent lunge. Arms up, big breath in. Exhale through to arrowhead. Sweep your arms back. Really pin back the shoulders. Do it again. Inhale, lift. Lean back, palms to touch, little back bend. Exhale through to arrowhead. Sweep them back. Inhale, coming up. This time, arrowhead. Gather the hands to prayer and stand up. Left knee to the chest. Find figure 4. Set the ankle on the knee. Set the hips down. Belly in. Just sort of working into the stretchiness of it. Nice and heavy through the hips. Last big breath here. So pretty tricky transition. Take your time if you need. Stand up. Left knee to the chest. Arms up. Now go slow. Step the left foot back. Something like warrior 2. And sink the hips to the left heel. Hello, puss. Chest up. Another big breath in. To the back of the mat. Sink the hips of the right heel into Skandasana. Breath or 2 there. to the original top of the mat. Runner's lunge. Plant your right hand. Cleopatra. Turn the left leg out to the side. Reach for the back of the mat. Inhale, lift the hips. Sweep the left hand up over the head. Sinking back down nice and gently. One more of those. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sink down. This time, lift the hips, step the left foot over the right leg, Cleopatra into Wild Thing. Lifting the hips, another big breath. And as the left hand comes down, tap the left knee to left elbow, squeeze it in. Inhale, three-legged dog, lift it up. Exhale through to koundinyasana, left knee, left elbow. Stack it up, either bend the elbows and hold, or push forward, flight time. Hold for a breath. Three-legged dog, left leg up. Gently stepping to the squat. Left foot outside the left hand. Right foot outside the right hand. Sinking the hips down nice and low. Breath or two. Belly in nice and tight. Stay with it for one more big breath. Two hands coming down for crow. Hips and heels lift up. Draw the knees in. Try and really draw them in. Like you're really trying to make the thighs connect to your ribs. As you shift body weight forward, hug the elbows in. Look forward. Maybe feet come up. Breath or two. We come through the flow. Step or jump. Chaturanga. Inhale. Up dog. Exhale. Down dog. Hips up and back. Couple of good breaths. Got myself a little friend here. And then from there, coming through to a much deeper variation of lizard lunge. So right foot stepping outside the right hand. Drop the back knee down. And then searching for a little bit of length in your stance. So you might slide the back knee back and start to sink down to the elbows. Or anyway, sort of heading to that kind of heaviness through the upper body. As another variation, you might think about coming back to the palms momentarily, bending the back knee, and reaching the right hand for the back foot there. Sinking the hips a little into it, and you might even consider just shifting a little bit of weight over to the right-hand side of your mat. Bit of a squeeze into the left glute here. And so that squeeze into your left glute, kind of promoting the left hip to actively be dropping into it. But it's that active part that makes the difference. There's what we call a neuroskeletal connection, or a neuromuscular connection. We want that connection. This cat. I'm sorry to be distracting from the practice, but this is adorable. Hello, boys. Love it. Couple more breaths there in lizard lunge. You got me, cat. Thank you. This is a stranger, by the way. Don't know where or who this cat belongs to. Let's give it one more breath here in lizard lunge. Okay. And then very gently, bit of a tricky transition, but very gently, take your left hand as wide as your mat and try and step your left foot, your back foot, straight through. So kick it out in front of you and sit the hips down. Once you're there, let the right knee turn out to the side. We'll come into a straightforward fold from here. So option for a half lotus there, only if you're comfortable and your knee is comfortable with that. But lift through the lower back, lift the ball of the front foot, and start to bow forward. Some nice, deep and easy breaths here. Not going to stay too long in it. Just a couple of really good ones here. About 3 or 4 more breaths as you are. Last big breath now. Very short hold. And with With an inhale, lifting up the chest. Right hand behind your hip for stargazer. Lift the hips, rock up onto the shin, lean over the head. Big breath in. And then sink the hips. And very simply, sweep your left leg back, roll over the knees, come back into down dog. Very optional flow if you want to take one. Otherwise, lizard on the other side. Left foot stepping outside your left hand. Drop the back knee and start to work into it. So give yourself some time and some space. You know, taking it easy, at least initially. But then, yeah, exploring the depths. Just maintaining that level of empathy to the body. So we can be gentle, but also be challenging. So you're kind of moving into that unfamiliar area of the body. And that's where the goodness really begins. But not to the point where you can't breathe or the muscles start to contract and try and protect these focused areas that you're working on. You might like to do little things like roll the thigh out and really open up the chest, or bend the back knee, take a hold of the foot. Wherever you might be at, shift a little bit of body weight over to your left. Soften through the shoulders. Notice any clenching of the jaw or the eyes, and soften there. Just maintaining this deep level of connectivity to your body where empathy really is at the basis. There's a deep sense of compassion, and it's a practice. We need repetition. So keep repeating this kind of, it's almost like an internal dialogue. You're establishing a quality of your practice. We just take 2 more big breaths. And then, could stay there all day. Gentle release. Right hand about as wide as your mat. Shorten up the stance maybe a little bit tricky. So back foot, kick straight through and out in front of you. Sitting the hips down. Left foot inside the thigh, lifting through the chest. And then we come towards a nice deep forward fold. Front foot lifted, shin, ankle, thigh, all active as you fold forward. There might be a little bit of extra lift on the lower back, a real softness through the shoulders, the chest dropping and sinking. Always want to take care of the lower back in a forward fold. It's kind of like the most, in a sense, the most vulnerable position where over time, over repetition, it can become a little bit wearing if we don't maintain a bit of core activation and a little bit of lift in the lower back. I know it might not feel like it's your deepest variation, but it's a very protected position, and we want to maintain that integrity of the lower back. We like our lower back. We need it for longevity in life. So a little bit of lift in the lower back, softening through the shoulders. Last couple of breaths here. Next inhale, chest lifts up. Stargazer, left hand behind your hip. Rock up onto the shin or the knee. Reach over the head, big breath at the top. Squeeze your glutes. And then release and come on down. Hands behind you, about the width of your mat, and slightly turn your hands out to the sides. Feet on the floor, about hip width apart for reverse tabletop. Roll back the shoulders. Lift the hips, but belly in. Draw a little bit more body weight forward, or push some body weight forward, but keep pushing up through the chest. Take just one more big breath here. And then release and come on down. And we head towards Baddha Konasana. So feet together, knees out to the sides. Walk your sitting bones back a little bit. And at least initially to get into this, try and slightly squeeze the heels together. So your glutes activate a little bit and the knees flare out quite actively. Grab a hold of something, thighs, shins or toes maybe. Lifting up the chest. So squeeze. And then start to bow forward. Same kind of situation on the lower back. Want to keep it really long, really healthy. Just going to turn sideways here. And as we come into the fold, maybe, we're maintaining that little bit of grip and traction on the toes or the ankles. But maybe if you're starting to head a little bit deeper into the fold, you walk your hands out in front of you and keep the grounding of the sitting bones, but allow for the chest to come towards the floor. Again, there's that length in the lower back. It doesn't have to be absolutely maximum. Just allow for that sense of direction to happen. So nice and long, chest going forward towards the end of the mat, whichever variation and sort of depth you're in. Same. Not so long, 3 more generous breaths, expanding the back body rib cage. So pacing the breath down a little bit. Shoulders soft, jaw soft. Last big breath. Inhale, lifting up the chest, knees together, legs straighten out in front of you, hands just behind the hips, again, facing the fingers out slightly. Welcome to take reverse tabletop again, but let's do plank. Roll back the shoulders, pop the chest up, point the toes, rock off the heel to lift the hips, belly in, holding, pushing through the sternum, so shoulders are pinned back. Another big breath here. And then release, come on down, bend your knees and roll straight down onto your back. Once you've arrived on your back, hug the knees in towards the chest and find happy baby. Grabbing the outer blades of the feet. Maybe a little pedal and a kick. We're only here for a breath or two. And then coming towards bridge. So set the feet on the floor. Tilt the tailbone up. Let's roll through it for 2 or 3 rounds. Inhale to lift the hips, press the hips towards the ceiling, and then roll the spine back down and towards the floor. 2 more of these. Inhale, up, belly in, lifting. Exhale, back down, and then last one. Inhale to lift. Exhale to bring it back down. This time, we lift and hold. Up. If you want to take it towards wheel, set the hands next to the head or thereabouts. A little bit more distance sort of towards the back of your mat is going to be nicer for just sort of the depth of the back bend. More close your hands are to the shoulders, the more challenging, difficult, and sort of intense it's going to be. So you find a good spot, and if you're going towards wheel, push through the chest and lift. Whichever shape you're in, give it 2 or 3 more breaths. Backside is tight, belly's in, holding. One last breath. And then release and come on down nice and slow. Drop the knees side to side a couple of times. Taking the right knee in towards your chest and draw it over to the left-hand side of your mat into a nice big twist here. Any variation is welcome, but either way, dropping the right shoulder down and allowing for more softness in this than physical force. So good sense of release into your deep belly, especially with the exhalation. Two more generous breaths here. Back through to center. We do the same thing to the other side. You might want to draw the knees in to begin with there, just sort of neutralize and bring a sense of release into the hips there, a little lift of the tailbone maybe. But then as soon as you're ready, left knee coming in, turn that left leg over to the right. And try and keep the left shoulder sinking towards the floor, if not completely in contact with the floor. And so that might mean drawing the hips and the knees out of it a little bit. Some nice, easy, steady breaths. Another 2 or 3 here. Again, really empty on the exhale. Almost a little bit of kind of natural contraction happening at the belly space as you exhale. Don't need extra force, just a natural contraction. Next inhale, knees back through center, symmetrical on the hips and neutralized, hugging the knees in. Breath or 2 here. Absolutely welcome to do anything else before Shavasana, but I am just about ready for that. So as soon as you're ready, jump straight into Shavasana and let the body settle and rest. Get comfy. And we just set a general intention here to bring a sense of release, softness, a sense of heaviness into the body. Release any tension at the jaw and the back of the neck. No struggle through the eyes. Cheeks absolutely soft. Your breathing becoming natural, normal, short and shallow once again. Ribs and belly absolutely soft. A few moments here to allow the body to rest. Total sense of surrender. Take a nice deep breath in. Shift your attention more outwardly. Bring some movement back into the body, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Have a big stretch. Awaken. And then as you're ready, up to a seated position. We keep the eyes closed for just one brief moment. We take the hands to prayer at heart center. And we take the hands into this position as a symbolic gesture, a gesture of togetherness and unity with the practice, with each other, and ultimately with ourselves. And it's with that in mind that we take a deep bow of the head and say Namaste. A pleasure and a joy as always. Take care. Have a beautiful rest of the day. See you soon.